Hello and welcome to Rise of the Data Cloud. Today's episode features an interview with Vaibhav Kulkarni, Head of Data Products and Infrastructure Engineering at PepsiCo. Vaibhav has spent over 10 years working his way up from an engineer to a founder and now a thought leader in the tech industry. On this episode, Vaibhav talks about the transfer of e-commerce to the cloud, what data transformation looks like on a massive scale, how to increase your ROI, and much more. So please enjoy this conversation between Vaibhav Kulkarni, Head of Data and Infrastructure Engineering at PepsiCo, and your host, Steve Ham.
Welcome to the podcast. It's great to talk to you again.
Thanks, Steve. It's my pleasure to be here.
Now, everybody knows PepsiCo, at least the products, the brands, but it would be good if you could start off by describing the business and all of its dimensions, and then focus in on the e-commerce unit where you work.
Certainly. PepsiCo is one of the largest CPG companies in the world. It was founded by merger of Pepsi Cola and Frito-Lay companies. So we have a very diverse portfolio of food and beverages products. And to name a few, Pepsi, Gatorade, Lay's, Quaker, Tropicana, Doritos. We have close to 23 brands with billion-dollar valuation each. We are continually expanding our portfolio to go beyond the bottle and find ways to deliver beverages free from single-use plastic. And our SodaStream business is definitely enabling this initiative. A fun fact, our products are enjoyed by consumers more than 1 billion times a day in more than 200 countries and territories around the world. Now, speaking about e-commerce org is relatively new within PepsiCo. We started 5-6 years ago. We are divided into several teams that are focused on specific areas like supply chain. We have D2C, B2B initiatives. We have marketing, sales, strategy, and technology groups within e-commerce as well. And we are also building several global products like Roi Engine that goes beyond e-commerce.
Great. We'll talk about that a bit later. Hey, so what is your personal role in PepsiCo's overall technology and data strategy? And in particular, what's your role in e-commerce?
At PepsiCo e-commerce, I'm heading up the data products, engineering, and infrastructure engineering groups. We are responsible to build scalable and extensible data platform infrastructure in the cloud. My group is also working on multiple global data products initiatives, focusing on data and application engineering and analytics capabilities. We work with many of our stakeholders here in the United States and globally. We've already launched several products including Roi Engine in North America sector last year. Now we are expanding our capabilities to launch it in our global sectors like Europe, APAC, and other regions. Yeah. On the other hand, my infrastructure engineering group is focused on building cloud infrastructure, tools, and systems that's empowering our hundreds of technologists within PepsiCo e-commerce.
Now, you have led technology teams at a number of companies, including at a startup called Miles. Please talk about the most important management and leadership lessons that you've learned there that you're putting to use at PepsiCo.
I was working at Miles, a startup before joining PepsiCo. Miles is a multimodal transportation reward mileage program. Basically, as a user, all you need to do is just install the mobile app, and it would detect all of your trips automatically without human intervention. So be it car trip, train, bus, or activities like walk, run, bike, you basically get the miles for these trips. Now you can redeem your miles for various rewards. As a founding member of Mile, I was leading engineering and data science teams there. You know, as a tech leader in a startup, you constantly have to think about how to deliver value to the business faster. You do not want to over-engineer things from day one, especially if you are literally bootstrapping the startup. You have to focus on delivering the features. At the same time, you also have to use the resources optimally, considering the limited funding. I was part of the journey at Miles where we grew from 4 to 5 people to 25 plus within a year and a half. As a leader, celebrating small wins is very important. It could be a a spot reward or a recognition. This will keep your team motivated. I also firmly believe that you have to give space and autonomy to your team members to get the best out of them. Overall, as a leader in PepsiCo e-commerce, my focus is to create a very empathetic, inclusive, and collaborative team culture by empowering team members.
So basically, you're taking the lessons you learned at a small company and you're applying them in a giant company, but for a team. It's a much bigger team, but they translate well, it sounds like.
Yes, definitely. And then one of the aspects is when I joined PepsiCo e-commerce, I was told e-commerce is kind of like a startup within the big org. Yeah. And I definitely agree with this.
Within PepsiCo's e-commerce unit, I know you have a number of multidisciplinary teams. You combine engineering, data science, business side people, analysts, marketing and product management people. So it's a really diverse set of people with different goals, though they share a common goal. So how do you set up and operate these teams so that the different domains are kind of synchronized and you get good results out of it?
We work in very highly integrated cross-functional team environment. We call it pod structure for different projects. And these pods comprise of engineering team, data science team, product, business, marketing stakeholders. Now, these pods have daily stand-ups, weekly or bi-weekly replenishment meetings to ensure we are prioritizing things to deliver value to the business. Of course, this pod structure is evolving as we speak, since we are also working with multiple global sector teams. Now, we not only have to deal with one stakeholders, but imagine we have the Europe stakeholders, we have the stakeholders from APAC, and within each sector, we have stakeholders from Russia, we have stakeholders from, particularly if we're talking about Europe, UK, Spain, etc. So it's really important that all teams are in the sync and to deliver projects successfully. Sometimes over communication is good when you work with that many teams together.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, PepsiCo is very aggressively launching new applications, both internally and externally. And I know that recently you launched pantryshop.com. This is a platform for consumers, and it came out last year. If you could describe that initiative and the role in it for data and data analytics, that would be very helpful.
Definitely. As the world adapts to new ways of living and working, being consumer-centric is more important than ever. Consumers are increasingly turning online for their food and beverages needs. We launched this initiative, pantryshop.com, our direct-to-consumer initiative, where shoppers can quickly and easily order their favorite products and get it delivered to their doorstep. We developed this site within less than 30 days in response to consumer evolving needs during these uncertain times last year. From data perspective, we do some user level analytics to better serve our consumers. At the same time, we mainly use this data for forecasting and supply chain planning purposes.
Now, you mentioned at the top that one of your major projects today is your ROI engine. And I understand this is an in-house data analytics engine for evaluating marketing and advertising campaigns and for measuring how effective they are. So I want to know, when and why did you launch this initiative? And also, this addresses all sales channels and not just e-commerce, right?
With consumer and customer landscape evolving, we launched ROI Engine initiative a couple of years ago. This was our efforts of building an in-house media optimization tool or media measurement tool. The ROI Engine allows us to make smarter decisions in measuring the campaign effectiveness and return on investment. It's a multivariant machine learning modeling based tool. And yes, you are right. ROI Engine addresses not only just e-commerce, but we also address many other channels, such as convenience, grocery, drugs, retailers, etc., as part of this project. A big org like PepsiCo spends good amount of money towards marketing, and this tool helps our marketers answer some of the questions, such as, quite recently, what's the effect of COVID on sales? How did, let's say, my TV campaign perform? Or it also gives recommendation to our marketers. Is it better to put next dollar in digital or TV. So for example, let's say you're spending, like, just coming up with the numbers, 20% of your marketing spend on TV. But you probably would just want to spend 15% on TV and maybe remaining 5% on other digital media. These are these questions that this tool helps answer. Of course, seasonality can affect ROI as well. And then we decided to build this tool in-house because previously we had a system that ran less frequently. We had to wait several months to get the results delivered. And many of the things were literally black box. Now we have built faster.
No, wait, by black box, you mean you got a result, but you didn't know how you got it? Is that what you mean by that?
That is correct. It was outsourced to our vendors, and then all we saw just the results, right? Now we have built this tool, which is faster, more granular, more frequent, and then with the better coverage, we are delivering results to our marketers faster, and they can quickly act upon it. Additionally, we have complete ownership of data set, and we can also run more analysis on top of it to make the better decisions.
Yeah. The idea that you had to wait months to get the results and understand how successful your campaigns were is just incredible. That just sounds oh so 20th century. But I think one of the things that has enabled this is the movement of data to the cloud, right?
Yes, certainly. Definitely. That helped a lot.
Yeah. So when and why did PepsiCo start migrating its data to the cloud?
Sure. The cloud migration initiative, I would say, was started a few years back. As a company, we collect tons of data across our different properties and products. So moving from on-prem infrastructure to cloud was, of course, no-brainer, as it offers a lot of benefits, such as security and reduced risk of data loss. Then the infrastructure, we are able to deploy our containers to Kubernetes clusters and cloud, which makes it easier to scale our services and applications. Of course, the computation on demand, that gives us a capability to do faster analysis, to basically demand computation to train our machine learning models effectively. With the cloud adoption, we are definitely becoming faster, stronger, and better to achieve PepsiCo's broader vision of be the global leader in convenient food and beverages by winning with the purpose.
Winning with purpose. That's an interesting idea. So that's like the mission of the company?
Yes, that's our broader vision of the company.
Yeah, I like that. Now, whenever companies do these major transformations and these major migrations of data to the cloud, it's a big deal because it's changing kind of the IT model, the data model, and some real business processes. What challenges have you encountered in this migration or through this migration, and how have you overcome them?
Sure. Fortunately, within PepsiCo e-commerce, we didn't face a lot of challenges migrating to the cloud, as we were a relatively new organization. Our cloud adoption was rather smoother. But of course, there were some other challenges. I've seen this not only within PepsiCo, but also some other big corps I worked at. A lot of data is sitting in Excel and PowerPoint deck. We, of course, know the importance of the data. We get that data onto the cloud to deliver actionable insights. And we all are working towards that efforts.
Sounds great. So it's not so much challenging as there's a lot to do, because you've got to get it out of those applications and those databases that's already in and make it available to the cloud in a new way, it sounds like. So that sounds like a real data engineering challenge rather than anything else.
Yes, definitely. And then a lot of the data sources we have to collect. We first have to discover these different data sources, where they are. They could be the company as big as PepsiCo with 300,000 employees. It could be really hard to find the data sources, the internal PepsiCo data sources, as well as external data sources. The external data sources the exploration of external data sources has become a little easier nowadays with technologies such as Snowflake Marketplace, etc. But yeah.
Now, I wanted to explore a little deeper on this, on the data cloud. When and why did you begin working with Snowflake?
We've been using Snowflake for more than 2 years now. At times, we were looking at multiple cloud data warehouse solutions, and Snowflake particularly stood out. I think Snowflake offers very unique data cloud solution with their architecture. They've separated the compute and storage layer. There's several benefits. Apart from performance and speed, you're ready for a multi-cloud environment, really. Within PepsiCo, we have teams using multiple clouds for different purposes. And it was important to make our data available across clouds to work on insights. And Snowflake enabled this through one of their features where you can literally basically set up multi-cloud replication, the replication across cloud with a couple of clicks. We also did a benchmarking at times, and then it was best choice for us within PepsiCo e-commerce, considering the cost and performance Snowflake were offering.
You've had Snowflake for a couple of years, and I imagine the way you use the technology has evolved. What role does it play in the ROI engine? And also, does it enable improved data sharing? It seems like those are two key questions for you.
Yeah, Snowflake, first of all, allowing teams to build insights very easily. So far, we have hundreds of data pipelines that we built using our data platform, and we use Snowflake on our day-to-day basis to basically store these data sets in the cloud. And Snowflake is powering multiple applications within PepsiCo already. We have Tableau, BI Analytics powered by Snowflake. We also have some internal web applications powered by Snowflake. Our data scientists are running their models on top of the data that we're storing in Snowflake. The Snowflake data share feature, particularly, I want to talk about it specifically regarding ROI Engine. As part of the ROI Engine, we are collecting data from now 60 plus data sources. And once we produce the actionable insights, we store them back into Snowflake. Now we have to share these results across different organizations within PepsiCo. And Snowflake is enabling this by this feature called Data Share, where we are able to quickly share a database or table with these teams. And then they don't need to worry about building these data engineering pipelines. They always get the most latest and up-to-date data available to them at any given time. And then, of course, there are multiple products that we are building on top of Snowflake, not only just ROI Engine.
Okay. Well, ROI Engine certainly sounds like a great product, a great capability. And it really illustrates one of the core things about the data cloud, because you're bringing together all these different groups. You're bringing together your marketing people, your product people, your data engineering people, your analytics people, who previously, and then all the different lines of business, previously they probably had all their data separated, but only because of the cloud can you get it, can you integrate it and manage it and make it actionable. It seems like that's really the heart and soul of ROI Engine, correct?
Yes, definitely. Having all of these data sets together in one place is very beneficial. And we already seen savings in our marketing spend last year because of this tool, specifically the ROI Engine. And we are able to make choices at many different levels, from AOP level strategic choices. Where do we place our bets? We are able to make some tactical and strategic decisions by doing top level analysis. The ROI Engine already allowed us to increase our digital penetration in certain brands by more than a double digit. And of course, we are able to do the informed decision by knowing where our consumer mindset. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I imagine in the midst of COVID, when suddenly so much was uncertain in society, in health, and in the business world, having something like ROI Engine, I mean, without that, you would have had a very hard time responding to those changes and to like the mysteries of where things were going and what was happening. So it seems like that was a very smart move, even though you didn't obviously anticipate COVID, it came in handy. So
Yes.
That's really interesting. Yeah. And the ROI Engine, just so I'm clear on this, it's used within e-commerce, but also in other parts of PepsiCo, correct?
Yes, ROI Engine particularly. So like I said earlier, e-commerce is just one of the channels that we deliver results to, but we also deliver results globally across different channels to different sectors globally. So this is way beyond e-commerce as well.
Right. Gotcha.
We have multiple teams involved in PepsiCo global side of stuff. We have the global insights team. We have global marketing and media teams involved in this project.
Yeah, that makes total sense. I understand that you're beginning to use Snowflake's data marketplace for acquiring and sharing data. So how does that change the game for you?
So we recently started using Snowflake Data Marketplace. And let me tell you, it's very easy to get started with. You have the data available to you very quickly. There are tons of data sets available in the marketplace, and many companies are publishing newer data sets very often. We are actually using several data sets through Marketplace. So for example, you were talking about COVID just a little earlier, and we were able to get the COVID data set for the Roi Engine project specifically through Snowflake Marketplace very quickly. At the same time, we also looking at some other data sets in Snowflake Marketplace, like foot traffic data and weather data, etc.
Looking ahead, what are the most important trends in cloud computing and in data analytics that you see coming in the next year or so?
As more and more companies are realizing the real value of the data, especially all the things we could do with cloud computing power, we will see more and more need for data technologists. This is the penetration that we all seen back in 90s or 2000 when all of the companies were running to get their businesses online. And as the things are still evolving in data space, there are so many roles and opportunities in this field. For example, we have now data scientists, data analysts, data engineers, machine learning engineers. Then we have, I also heard like full stack machine learning engineers. There's tons of opportunity in data space. We're already seeing some impressive startups and tech coming up in this space. To name a few, Monte Carlo data, they are in data quality and observability space. DBT, an ETL tool, Kubeflow in MLOps space. I think we just getting started with the data share across the companies through the data cloud. And Snowflake particularly is playing a key role here with their data share capabilities. I feel a lot of companies will take advantage of such features, cutting down their data transfer cost and development time. I think companies will be able to share and ingest the data without needing to build this big ETL processes through the Snowflake data share capability specifically.
Okay, so there'll be less need for ETL because the data has already been loaded and prepared. Is that the idea?
That is correct. Again, with the data share feature, you don't really have to worry about building these ETL pipelines. When company A shares their data sets, we can directly consume it without building these data pipelines.
So you skip a big, complicated step. That sounds really smart. How do you see the data cloud impacting business and society?
So data-driven decision making. Definitely, this will enable companies in different fields to make informed data-driven decisions. Companies will further find new ways to generate more revenue, produce some actionable insights, and find new growth opportunities. And I'm very optimistic about the future of the data and AI technologies, particularly. We already seeing the benefits of AI knowingly or unknowingly right now. I remember I used to work in Quotient Technology around 5 years ago, which is, by the way, leader in digital coupons and omni-channel digital marketing. And one of the projects I was leading there was in applied machine learning. We were trying to recognize and classify retail product images using mobile camera. So basically, it could identify if product is Diet Pepsi or Gatorade or Lay's just by pointing camera at it. About the same time, there were some news about machine, or I would rather say the artificial neural networks like convolutional neural networks were just outperforming humans in identifying the images accurately. It's very fascinating considering all your computer sees, is just bunch of numbers in a matrix. So let's say if it's a 100 by 100 pixel grayscale image, all your computer sees is 100 by 100 pixel of matrix with each number in the matrix representing 0 to 255 color range. Anyway, we all are seeing emerging AI applications in different industries, self-driving cars, Amazon Go stores, identifying cancer. I think these things will become a norm in future. And I'm quite excited about the impact of the data and tech can have.
I heard recently that you've been doing some meetings in a virtual office. Now, we're all used to using Zoom for our meetings, but you're literally using a VR app. Tell us about that. What is it and how does it work?
Oh, sure. So I have this VR headset and I use this app called Immersed VR on it, which is pretty cool, by the way. You can work with your colleagues in a virtual office environment. So basically, you're in the same virtual room. You can literally see your colleagues sitting beside you, of course, in their virtual avatar. You can also have multiple virtual monitors to work with. It connects to your laptop. And then, of course, there is a virtual webcam, which, by the way, shows your avatar and virtual office background in your Zoom meetings. It's fun. And at the same time, you're getting work done. Sometimes this is what needed and for this very unfortunate pandemic situation.
So it adds a little bit of spice to life. And you can also get your work done, which is like a double benefit. That's pretty cool.
Certainly.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that example. And I just think we're going to see a lot of new collaboration technologies and approaches that are just going to be incredible over the next couple of years. You know, the COVID thing set it off. It set off a new wave of innovation there. As a matter of fact, I was listening to Eric Yan of Zoom talk earlier today, and he said, he doesn't call it Silicon Valley anymore. He calls it Collaboration Valley, because that's where he thinks a lot of the innovation is going to be going on in the coming years. Yeah, so this has been a really cool conversation. I love that. I also think your ROI engine is really powerful. I can see how practically any business of any kind that does advertising or even aggressive marketing, they need something like that. And it seems to me that's something we're going to be hearing a lot more about from a lot of companies. So thank you so much for your time today. I think it's been really illuminating.
Thank you, Steve. It was great and my pleasure talking with you.
This episode is brought to you by Snowflake, the data cloud company. Inside the data cloud, organizations unite their siloed data, discover and securely share data, and execute diverse analytic workloads across multiple clouds. Learn more at snowflake.com/podcast.